Hi, it's David here with Futures Trade. I want to go ahead and introduce to you again the center of your chart and how important it is in relation to your trend. Very, very important that you realize how far the market could possibly pull back on you. Now, of course, I told you you don't want them to put, a trend in the opposite direction of the trend you're trying to trade because then it can create just a bad scenario for you. So, because then you're going to have to wait until they kind of somewhat, turn it back around clearly. But once you get the mid of the trend, once you get a trend, the mid of the trend, they'll try to test it. All right. Now, you can go with that or the mid of the chart. And I'm trying to just, again, highlight this based on the location. Let me show you on the channel. I did actually cover this mid in the I covered this in the trading guide. So it'll be in here. All right. That's like that third one that I showed you. And again, in 18 minutes. But let's go ahead and take another look at it because I know you guys had watched the video here. And I see that you guys liked that on TikTok. You really enjoyed it. And I think more so it's for the trend. But also, I showed you how to use that mid. Try to look at the mid of the chart. Just once you see a trend set, just plot a line dead on the mid of the chart, and always keep your eye on it because it'll give you an idea of what's happening. And not only that, you can go with that lower part of the chart too. Kind of divide that in half. That's another thing too. Now, of course, I sped this up to a 5 second chart because I want you to see all these fluctuations and how it really responds. Now, we had four here. Let's see what else do we got. All right. Really simple stuff. All right. And again, no moving averages, no trend lines. You don't need all of that stuff in order to trade. You really don't. You got to make it simple. Now, of course, you can have all that if you want. One, two, three, four, five. Yes. So we got a trend. Six, seven. So we got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Yeah. So we have a trend up right into the center of the chart. Here's the response. Now, I do suspect that they're going above here, and I can tell you that I don't like what's happening here. I'll say that I don't like what's happening. I'm not going to give you all the details of everything that I know, but I suspect that they're going above here, absolutely. But here's the response. Okay, so here's the reaction right there on the center of that chart. Now, you divide the lower part in half as well. All a part of the trend. This is, again, one of the things that, I can tell you, it's all about the trend, the trend, the trend. And so you don't need trend lines. Use the information that they're providing you. So just within 10 minutes, and I sped it up so you can enjoy being able to watch this on TikTok without having to come all the way to YouTube. So you're still right at the center of the chart here. And so you do this I suspect they're going to get above you. I do. And there's something happening with that turn there, and it went down. But I suspect that they're going to try to climb above it. I think. And if they don't, it's okay. So now they're trying to make another trend down. All right. So can they go the distance of the trend? Now remember, I told you both can't be on the board. One got to go and the other can stay. So it's going to have to be one or the other. Now, if they pull back up clearly to the center of the chart, maybe they won't hit this. Maybe they won't hit it right now. Maybe. But if not, here's the lower half of the chart. I want to teach y'all some simple stuff on how to trade. Just some simple stuff, man, that can really, really change your results. I mean, absolutely, right out the door. Hurry up and get you whatever it is that you want and do it with confidence. That's the other part. That's the psychological part that you really need to have on board. So you're not, just taken out of your position based on the fluctuations, because they do that. All right. They have to do it. They force you out of it. Now, I told you, of course, two leg removal. That's a part of the market structure video where you get this a leg. Okay, that's a leg and it broke a new high. And so then you have this one. So just don't, you can break this, just don't break this. Now I think that'll be a little bit too far if they came all the way back here. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. That's not fun. So we want to keep them right above the midpoint of here. Now, here's the center of the chart. And of course, it's dynamic. It can move a little bit clearly. But for the most part, like a price magnet, it will come back to it. Now, if you blend the trends together and the chart scale, remember, everything that I teach you is to be traded as a whole. So if you blend that together, you and I saw that it came down, turned right here, and now it's going back up. Now, I'm not able to tell you why I know that they'll blow this. I can't tell you that. That's stuff that's reserved for people that I've trained. Okay. And of course, yes, I still train people occasionally, only in my leisure. All right. So, but yes, that type of information there definitely could benefit you too. But You can't deny that the simplicity that I'm offering on YouTube is really, again, is to get you there as fast as you want to get there. Okay. Now I don't know what you're using. You can be using some kind of order flow or all of that good stuff. And I'm not saying that that stuff can't provide you some information. But what I definitely want to stress to you is that there's enough information right within these candles, right here, right now on the chart, the very thing that you're paying for, because you're paying for your platform in some regard. Now you may say, hey, I get it free, or well, you got to pay the fees, to trade. There's some kind of fee you're going to pay to do this. All right, I promise you that. So this is the invaluable, and they're meant to manipulate you, to get your timing off, because that's what they protect at all costs. But here's the interesting part about it. When I pull this chart off to the left, you see that this stretches forward. And so it inevitably it's regarding the time. Okay. So it's regarding the time that it takes for all of this to take place. And so you're not left out of the loop when it comes to the invaluable part. You're not left out. Okay. You're not left out of that part, because this is projected forward. It's doing the hard right edge. It's not doing so much of what's happening over here. It's dealing with what's happening right now and what could happen moving forward. It's kind of like when they dove down here. So it makes sense that they're getting up here and they're starting to base. That makes sense. Now let's see if they can get here. I know it's approaching. Let me refresh this chart. I had a clock up there, but sometimes it disappears. It's approaching, of course, the close. For today's activity, and it's reloading. Just give it a second. I got a whole bunch of other stuff running. Just give it a second. All right, so here we go. All right, so it's 4:05. All right, so it's still same information here. Just again, just back and forth. They're trying to, of course, take off again. Now, remember what I told you in the videos that once it goes to trend, all right, let's measure that to get you whatever you want. And again, this is a 5-second chart, man. So it I don't care what time frame you're trading. It don't matter. See, there's the distance. So the chart tells you how much you can make. And so it helps you, it just helps you to know that your income is essentially wrapped up inside of the trend. Whatever it is that you want to make, it's tied into that. It's tied into the trend. So and then you can plan out how much you're going to make. You can plan it out. Now I see them drifting under this center. I see it. And again, this is just a zone. It's something that you buffer yourself, up against. Now I told you in the prior videos that they'll come to about the mid of the trend. Now, of course, they're still trending up. They're still trending up. And so this kind of matches. I mean, it's not 100% exact, but it's pretty close. Now, let's see if they'll take out this price level here, 550. 550 is a static too. I have and that's the static level for the daily, the 550 down to the 450. All right, so they haven't breached 450, 450. They haven't breached that. All right, so you flip the zone upside down when they're coming down into it. It's kind of like, again, all the information that I put on the channel. The static levels, all right, and you can find that right there. Hold on, let's go down to the trading guide. Okay, static levels. All right, I go over that. I go over that. Trust me, I tell you the three different places that the market can turn. Now we're just dealing with the center of the chart, and I'm just mentioning to you, static level. So we're at 550 right here, down to 450. They can turn without touching 450. That's important. They shouldn't go outside of 450 if they're going to turn around. I do suspect that we may go down lower, but not right now. But I do suspect that daily may go down a little bit lower. I do. I hope that they won't, and I believe they should go higher. But let's just see what happens moving forward. But right now, I want to make sure that they go ahead and take this out. They pulled up to it. Let's get this high. All right, so that's 54 and a quarter. There we go. Okay, so yeah, now they just took out that high. All right, so now let's see what the response will be when it gets here, and then I'll let you go. Let's see if they give us some kind of rotation once they get here. And all you're doing, you're taking the chart, you're using the chart, you're dividing it in half. That's all you're doing. It's very simple using a 5-second chart. It's not too fast. It's well, if you're trying to trade it, it may be a little fast. But just for a reference of being able to see the repetitiveness of the information over and over and over again without any kind of, other information in front of you. None. All right, just the repetitive information that I'm putting in front of you about a trend. And it's hard to remove trends. So they can set a trend in this direction clearly. And one, two, three, four, five, six. So they never got it done here. Let's see. Let me make sure one more time. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, they put a trend there, but they can remove it because remember now, if you're gonna trend down, start knocking out these two legs. Just take them out. And so, and if you see that there's two trends on the board and you're trying to trade one of them, uh, don't be distracted so much until they start taking out your two legs. And then you'll know for certain, yes, that's what we're doing. Now, of course, you got to regard what this is doing too. And so you see what happens when they get roughly into the mid of it, see if they'll rotate. And so by putting in front of you the chart scale, it can serve as a useful tool with the trend to try to give you a filter, just a filter, just a filter. Now, they're getting closer and they're trying to show that weakness. I want to hold it until they get right into it. I want to see what's going to happen, but we may come right back into this. We may come right back into this before getting there. But this is another way to find potential turning points. Just another way, again, using your chart scale, using the chart scale, nothing else. All right, nothing off to the left. You don't have to do that unless, like I said, you use the trend and say, hey, they can probably go halfway into the trend, then blend, of course, the scale. Now you can use the static levels, the ranges, the other two items that I, suggested to you that you can use to find turning points in the market. Now, again, I'm a trend trader. I do not promote any kind of counter trend trading at all. But I know that there's people out there that want to do that too. So I try to put just a little bit information there for those that may want to, I guess entertain themselves with that type of stuff. And so let's say they're not going to go up to here right now. Let's say they're not going to do that because they don't have to. They don't have to. Now the scale just adjusts. The chart does that. It adjusts. And it'll look like it got there, but you and I saw that it didn't quite get there. It came shy. All right. So the scale right here is saying that hey, we're we're still above the center of the chart. Now, because they made another move up, and they broke a high, and they're breaking this high. So now we would say, hey, you can break this, just don't break this. And so if they come under here, we're still above here, okay, and give or take a tick or two, let's say about right there. We're still above here, which kind of serves as a buffer for the center of the chart. Now, if you get above here, clearly you're so bullish, or you get below here, you're really, really bearish. So bearish, somewhat under here, but definitely don't take no more longs here. Not unless you're doing counter trend. Unless you're doing counter trend, don't take no more. Don't take no more trades in in the opposite direction. So once you get up here, it's all about going up. Okay. Definitely, you can see that every time they dive towards this center of the chart, you can see these lifts. But again, that's a trend, and so all they're doing is they're making the trend down and of course they're coming back into this and there's one two three four five six seven. Okay, so you got seven here. They're telling you how much you can potentially make. All right, so once they pull up, they can go to distance. Once they pull up, they can go to distance, and they're trying to let you know how much it is that they're willing to offer you. That's the most important part of doing all of this. Again, on a 5-second chart, want to make sure that you understand how to use it. Use the chart and use the candles. Use this information that they gave you and stay in your trade. Please stay in your trade. Now, I did color the bars based on that no touch, but I didn't want to have the levels in here because of the chart scale. So I took the levels and the text out, but I did color the bars. Now, remember the mid. Now, that's the thing I definitely want to stress to you. All right, so they're coming into, okay, the scale adjusts. They're coming into that area, okay, the upper area here. All right, so they're coming into that upper area. And notice how you get that selling back into that center. All right, just notice how the chart is responding to this information. All right, so it's not about all of the stuff that they can have you believe. Off to the left, look here, it can turn around and I'm not gonna do a lot of that. I'm gonna take exactly what you gave me, and I'm gonna just look right here. Right here. I can't get the lines to be up here. I wish I could because then I can just on seven, I actually had that flexibility, Ninja Trader 7. Well, I can put lines up here and put them down here, but on this one, I can just only put it in the center. But if you stretch the lines forward, up here, even though the scale is adjusting, those lines will still remain constant enough to let you know that this area is important, as well as the center of the chart here. And so that's my that's my time with you. I wanted to just again put it in front of you that hey, they can blow this, don't blow this. Here's your trend. Even though you're getting trends in the opposite direction, man, see what they do when they come to the mid of the one you have and use the chart scale in conjunction with that information. Put it all together. Okay. So make sure you don't get deterred, because I know sometimes, definitely with the NQ, they'll put two trends together side by side and get you to try to figure out which one they plan to do. And when they do something like that, make sure you utilize your chart scale, because that can start helping you find where potentially can you test my trend and then turn around and go the other way. All right. So I wish you all the best with your trading. If you have any questions, make sure you leave me a message below and I'll answer that question. All right. So take care.